Welcome aboard, Mr. and Mrs.
She said, "Welcome aboard, Mr. and Mrs." And the man standing next to his mistress went completely still, because the flight attendant smiling at them wasn't just doing her job. She was his wife. Jordan Mercer had built his entire life around one skill: looking innocent. He drove a charcoal gray Tesla through downtown Atlanta like he owned the air between buildings. His consulting firm pulled 7 figures. His suits were tailored. His handshake was firm. His smile was the kind that made people trust him before he said a single word. People called him polished, composed, reliable. His wife Priya called him home. Priya Mercer had been a domestic flight attendant for 6 years. She was up before the sun most mornings, pressed her uniform without being asked, and still had dinner ready when Jordan came home late. She wasn't flashy. She wasn't loud. But she noticed everything. That was the part Jordan kept forgetting. That Tuesday morning felt ordinary. Priya stood in their kitchen, zipping her flight bag. Jordan walked in, phone already in his hand, tie already perfect. "Leaving early again?" she asked. "Meetings." He poured coffee without looking at her. "You've been doing that a lot. That's what clients pay for." He kissed her cheek the way people kiss envelopes. Automatic. Sealed. Gone. Priya watched him walk out. She didn't say what she was thinking. She never did. What Jordan didn't tell her, what he had told absolutely no one, was that he had booked 2 first-class tickets to Cancun. Not for a business trip. For Kayla. Kayla Brandt was 26, relentless, and allergic to boring. She wore perfume that cost more than most people's car payments. She laughed too loud in quiet restaurants and never apologized for it. She had met Jordan at a rooftop networking event 8 months ago. What started as a conversation had become something far more dangerous. Now she sat across from him at a corner cafe, swiping through resort photos on her phone. "That one," she said, turning the screen toward him. "Infinity pool, ocean view, white curtains blowing in sea air." "Already booked," Jordan said. Kayla's eyes lit up. "You're serious?" "Private villa. Direct flights. 6 days." She leaned across the table and kissed him once, quick and sharp. "And Priya thinks. Conference in Houston." He didn't flinch. Kayla laughed. "You're actually terrible." "She won't check." Kayla tilted her head. "She never does?" Jordan slid 2 boarding passes across the table. Kayla looked down. Her smile stretched slowly across her face. "Departure, Friday. Destination, Cancun International." Neither of them spoke about what happened if anyone found out. Some risks feel too far away to be real. Across the city, Priya Mercer was getting news that would change everything, and she didn't know it yet. Her supervisor called her into the office that Wednesday afternoon. Priya sat across from the desk, hands folded, expecting a schedule update. "We're moving you to international routes," her supervisor said. Priya blinked. "International? Your performance reviews are the best on the team. We want you leading first-class cabin service on long-haul flights." Priya felt the words land one by one, like stones dropping into still water. International flights meant better layovers, better hotels, better pay, and most importantly, it meant she had been seen. 6 years of early mornings and late returns and quiet professionalism, and someone had finally noticed. Her supervisor pushed a folder across the desk. "First assignment is this Friday." Priya opened the folder. She stared at the destination, Cancun. She laughed softly, a nervous, disbelieving laugh. "Is something funny?" her supervisor asked. "No," Priya said quickly. "It's just, my husband mentioned he might be traveling this weekend too." Her supervisor smiled. Small world. Priya closed the folder. She thought about calling Jordan right then, surprising him with the news, but something stopped her. A small, quiet instinct she couldn't explain. "I'll tell him when I get back." She didn't realize she would see him much sooner. Friday arrived fast. Jordan and Kayla moved through the airport like they belonged in a magazine. He wore dark jeans and a fitted gray jacket. She wore a cream linen set and oversized sunglasses. Porter handled their luggage. The priority check-in line was empty. "I love airports," Kayla said, linking her arm through his. "Why?" "Because nobody knows who you are yet." Jordan smiled. That should have felt like a warning. Inside the first-class lounge, they ordered drinks. Kayla flipped through her phone, pulling up the resort's website. Jordan leaned back, feeling the particular satisfaction of a man who believed he had outrun something. The boarding announcement came 20 minutes later. Flight 614 to Cancun now boarding. First class and priority passengers. Kayla stood immediately. "Let's go." They walked to the gate. Passports ready. Boarding passes scanned. The jetway was quiet and carpeted and cool. Jordan could already feel the salt air he was imagining. He stepped through the aircraft door, and everything stopped. She was standing right there. Priya. Uniform pressed sharp. Hair pinned clean. Posture straight. Smile warm. She was greeting passengers as they boarded, voice smooth and professional, the way she always was at work. Jordan's entire body locked. His foot actually stopped moving. A passenger behind him bumped his shoulder and kept walking. Jordan barely registered it. Kayla leaned close. "Why did you stop?" He couldn't answer. Kayla followed his stare toward the front of the cabin. "Which one?" she whispered. Jordan barely moved his jaw. "The one at the door." Kayla's grip tightened on his arm. "That's your wife. She doesn't fly international." His voice came out like something cracked. "She never has." Kayla straightened slowly. "Well, she clearly does now." The boarding line kept moving. The gap between them and the door shrank. 10 feet. 7. 4. Jordan told himself she might not see them. Told himself she was busy. Told himself there were 30 other passengers and she couldn't possibly. Priya looked up. Her eyes found his instantly. 1 second. That was all it took. Recognition moved across her face like a current under still water. Invisible to anyone watching, deafening to Jordan. She saw him. She saw Kayla's hand on his arm. She saw the matching carry-ons. She understood everything in the time it takes to blink. Then, and this was the part that broke him, she smiled. Not a pained smile. Not a crumbling smile. Professional one. "Welcome aboard." Her voice never wavered. "Please make your way to seats 3A and 3B. Jordan walked past his own wife without saying a word. The first-class cabin was designed to make people feel untouchable. It didn't work tonight. Jordan dropped into seat 3A and stared straight ahead. The leather was soft. The lighting was gold. None of it registered. Kayla buckled in slowly beside him. "She recognized us." "Yes." She didn't say anything. "No." Kayla turned toward him. Her voice dropped. "Jordan, that's not a good sign. She's working. She won't cause a scene." "I'm not worried about a scene." Kayla folded her hands in her lap. "I'm worried about what a woman like that does when she doesn't make a scene." Jordan said nothing. He watched through the gap in the curtain as Priya greeted the last few boarding passengers. Her posture never changed. Her voice never changed. She was flawless. That frightened him more than anything. The aircraft doors sealed shut with a soft mechanical thud. The engines rose to a low hum. Jordan felt the slight pressure as the plane began to move. There was no getting off now. 30 minutes into the flight, Priya entered the first-class cabin with the service cart. Every passenger she passed, she greeted with the same warmth, the same genuine attention. She asked about dietary preferences. She remembered which passenger had ordered sparkling water. She was extraordinary at her job. Jordan watched from behind his screen, pretending to scroll through movies. Kayla leaned over. "She's getting closer. I see her. Don't do anything weird." "I'm not going to do anything." Priya reached their row. She looked at Jordan first. Calm. Direct. The look of someone who had already decided something important. "Good evening. Can I get you started with a beverage?" "Water," Jordan said. His voice came out thin. Priya poured it without a word and placed it on his tray. Then she turned to Kayla. "And for you." Kayla kept her voice bright. "Champagne, please." "Of course." Priya poured. She set the glass down. Then she straightened and leaned just slightly toward Jordan, close enough that only he could hear. "I hope the conference in Houston goes well," she said softly. Then she moved to the next row. Kayla stared at him. What did she just say? Jordan looked straight ahead. He felt cold. The rest of the flight was its own kind of punishment. Dinner arrived in elegant courses. Kayla barely ate. Jordan ate nothing. The movie screens played films neither of them watched. "She knows everything," Kayla said quietly. "She suspects." "Jordan." Kayla turned to face him fully. "She knows. And she's not crying. She's not pulling you into the galley. She's not texting you." She paused. "That means she already decided what she's going to do." Jordan rubbed the bridge of his nose. "You're spiraling. I'm reading the room." He glanced toward the front of the cabin. Priya was speaking to another crew member, laughing at something softly. She looked lighter than he'd seen her in months.
You don't have to see me.
That did something to his chest that he wasn't ready to examine.
Just keep going.
"Your wife," Kayla said quietly, "is
I'll be right
terrifying."
behind
Jordan had no response, because for the first time in 8 months, he was starting to understand that while he had been planning his escape, Priya had been quietly becoming someone he never really knew. The wheels touched down in Cancun just
You
before
keep
sunset.
walking through the
The city
shadows,
glowed orange and gold below
like
them.
you're carrying
Tourists
it
pressed
all.
toward the windows. Kayla
Never
exhaled
showing
with
any
visible relief as the
weakness.
seatbelt signs clicked off.
Never letting
"We made it," she said.
teardrops
Jordan
fall.
said nothing.
I can see the
They
way
waited
you
until the
break
aisle
it.
cleared, then walked toward the
Underneath
exit.
that
Priya
quiet
was standing at
smile,
the door again. Of course
you
she was.
don't
Their
have
eyes
to
met
face
as Jordan stepped forward.
all alone
He searched her
this
face for
whole
anger,
damn
for hurt,
time.
for
You
anything he
don't
recognized.
have to look
She gave him none of
behind.
it.
I'll
"Thank you
be
for flying
there
with us,"
just
she said
outside.
clearly. "Enjoy your
When the
stay."
world
Then
gets
she looked
way
past
too
him to the
heavy,
next passenger.
I'll be
Jordan stepped
holding
off the
up
plane.
your sky.
The resort was
You
everything Kayla
don't
had
have
pulled
to
up on
say
her phone
my
that
name.
cafe.
I'll
Infinity
still
pool,
hear you
ocean view,
in the
white
dark.
curtains catching the sea
Even
breeze.
if you
She stood on the
never
balcony the first
notice,
evening with a
I've
glass
been
of
with you
wine, watching the sun flatten
from
against the
the
water.
start.
"This is perfect," she said. Jordan stood at the window inside, staring at his
If you
phone.
stumble, if
No
you
text
fall,
from Priya, no calls,
if
no
your light
voicemail.
begins
Kayla
to
came
fade,
inside. "You're
I'll
doing
be
it again."
right there
She
in the
hasn't reached out.
silence,
That bothers
making
you
sure
more than
you're
if she had.
not
Doesn't it?
afraid.
Jordan set his
You
phone down.
don't have
He
to
didn't
look
answer.
behind.
Kayla sat
I'll
on the edge
be
of the
there
bed.
just
Silence from a woman
outside.
like that isn't
When
nothing,
the
Jordan.
world gets
It's a
way
plan.
too
He poured
heavy,
a drink for
I'll
her
be
anyway.
holding up
She's
your
probably
sky.
embarrassed,
You don't
She
have
won't
to
blow
say
up her
my
own life.
name.
Kayla
I'll
looked at him
still
for a
hear
long
you
moment.
in
She
the dark.
already made her plan.
Even
She
if
said
you
quietly.
never
She made it on that
notice,
flight
I've been
while she was
with you
pouring us champagne. The week
from
passed like a slow
start.
fever, beautiful on the outside,
I
wrong
don't
underneath.
need to
They
stand
went to dinner.
beside you.
They swam.
I
They
don't
took
need
photos
to
that
be
would
the
never be
light.
posted anywhere.
If
Kayla
it
laughed
means
in
that
all the
you
right
keep
places.
moving,
Jordan smiled
I'll
when he was
just stay
supposed to.
here.
But Priya's silence followed him
right
everywhere.
outside.
Every morning he checked his phone.
You
Nothing.
don't have
Every night,
to look
nothing.
behind.
This is the quietest
I'll be
catastrophe
there
I've ever been
just
part of,
outside.
Kayla said on day
When
5.
the world
Jordan didn't
gets
argue.
way too
On the
heavy,
last night,
I'll
they
be
sat on the balcony
holding up
watching the
your
ocean.
sky.
Kayla had
You
grown
don't
quieter
have
as the
to
week
say
went on,
my
less
name.
electric,
I'll still
more
hear
guarded.
you
"I
in
need
the
to ask you
dark.
something," she said.
Even if
Okay,
you
if she's
never
done,
notice,
if Priya
I've been
actually walks
with
away
you
from this, what does that mean for us?
the start.
Jordan looked at the water. He didn't have an answer. Kayla nodded slowly, like she'd already expected that. "That's what I thought," she said. She went inside and started packing. They flew home separately. Kayla
don't have
booked
to
an
turn
earlier
around.
return. She hugged him at the terminal entrance. Quickly, tightly, with the energy of someone closing a door behind them. "Take care of yourself," she said. Jordan watched her walk away. Then he boarded his flight alone. He drove directly from the airport to the apartment. The elevator ride up was slow. The hallway was quiet. He was already forming the conversation in his head. What he would say, how Priya would react, how they would navigate this. Then he saw the envelope, taped
It's
neatly
raining.
to the center of the front door. His
Not
name
outside.
written across it in her handwriting. Jordan peeled it
You'll
off.
never know
His hands felt different suddenly,
how loud it
not
is in
shaking
here.
exactly, but not right either. Inside were several documents, stamped and formatted with legal headers. Petition for dissolution of marriage. He read every page standing in the hallway. When he pushed the door open and stepped inside, the apartment felt hollow in a way that square footage couldn't explain. He moved through each room slowly. The bookshelves had gaps where her things used to be. The framed photos from their trips were gone. Just pale rectangular outlines on the wall where the light hadn't reached. Her reading chair by the window, gone. He walked into the bedroom. Half the closet was bare. He went to the kitchen last. Her wedding ring sat on the counter. Next to it, a folded note. He opened it. For words, you should have gone to Houston. Jordan sat down on the kitchen floor. He wasn't sure how long he stayed there. 3 months passed. The apartment still felt like a museum of something that used to exist. Kayla had gone quiet 2 weeks after they returned. A few texts, then nothing. Whatever they had shared in that week in Cancun had dissolved somewhere over the Gulf of Mexico. Jordan threw himself into work to help until it didn't. One Thursday evening, he sat in the back of a rideshare stop in Atlanta traffic. Rain on the windows, music too low to identify. He was staring at nothing when the car stopped at a red light. He glanced up at the digital billboard above the intersection, and his breath left his body. Priya, full-size, professionally lit, standing in an aircraft cabin in a redesigned international crew uniform. One hand resting on a headrest, looking directly into the camera. She looked the way she had the night she boarded in that airport, composed, certain, untouchable. The billboard read, "Sky first. Experience the difference." She was the face of the airline's new international campaign. The light changed. The car moved. Jordan kept staring until the billboard disappeared behind the next building. The driver noticed the silence. "You know her." Jordan didn't answer right away. He thought about the morning she stood in their kitchen zipping her flight bag while he poured coffee without looking at her. He thought about the note on the counter. He thought about the way she had smiled at him at the aircraft door. Not with hurt, not with anger, but with the quiet certainty of someone who had already chosen something better. "Yeah," he finally said. The car kept moving. "I used to." He had boarded that plane believing he was getting away with something. He didn't understand until that moment what the flight had actually done. It hadn't taken him to a vacation. It had carried Priya somewhere he would never reach. Somewhere she was already standing, composed and bright and free, and she had smiled at him the whole way there.